Hi, my name is Sydney, but I need you to call me Uncle Cracker. This is part 3. Come have an affair with me against your inherited theology. If you have not seen part 1 and 2, it is vital. You will not receive the full effect. Please, fuck off. Go watch part 1 and 2. So in part 1 and 2, I explained my interpretation of the tree of life, of the serpent, how it is symbolism for Kundalini. Yeah, the tree of life is still there. The way is still there. It's just guarded. Now, Genesis 3, verse 14. The Lord God said to the serpent, because you have done this, cursed are you among all animals and among all wild creatures. Upon your belly you shall go, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. The awakening force becomes dormant in the root chakra, making it so inner knowing is automatically destabilized and Kundalini requires activation. Genesis 3 verse 15, I will put enmity between you and the woman and between your offspring and hers. He will strike your head and you will strike his heel. Symbolically, feminine consciousness becomes separated from or resistant to its own awakening impulse. So I interpret Genesis 3 verse 15 as the severing of the feminine from awakening. Yeah, from herself. And I will go much deeper into that later in this fucking video. But there's something else I fucking realised while I was just about to fucking do this, and it was shorter, so I thought I'd do that first. I'm going to go right into that. Now, I interpret Genesis 3 verse 16 to 19 as the curse of distorted consciousness. Are you ready for this fucking shit? Genesis 3 verse 16, to the woman he said, I will make your pangs in childbirth exceedingly great. In pain you shall bring forth children, yet your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you. Now, how does this make sense to me through my Kundalini interpretation? If the serpent represents the awakening of inner knowing, Kundalini, consciousness, intuition, then the curse represents the suppression of that, doesn't it? The feminine's consciousness becomes dormant, pulled downward into the root chakra, survival, security, attachment, fear. She's no longer, she can't use her full energetic system, root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye and crown. She's not in alignment no more. All she has access to is her fucking root chakra, the 3D. Her inner authority is now external. Your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you. Instead of knowing herself through herself, she seeks security, fulfillment, and direction through the masculine. She loses herself in the man. And once authority has been externalized, what becomes possible? Hierarchy. Oh, wonderful. Yeah? The distortion of the feminine consciousness and suppression becomes attachment. The distortion of the masculine becomes domination. Genesis 3 verse 17 to 19. And to the man he said, because you have listened to the voice of your wife and have eaten of the tree about which I commanded you, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. In toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you, and you shall eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread until you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken, you are dust, and to dust you shall return. Now, the curse moves directly into the material world, doesn't it? Cursed is the ground, in toil you shall eat. Labour, scarcity, survival. By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread. This is survival mode. This is the consciousness vibration of lack. Consciousness turned into fear. Is there going to be enough? Yeah? Instead of abundance, because what does the feminine bring symbolically? Abundance. But there's no abundance. It's been suppressed. There is only scarcity. Instead of creation flowing through connection with the divine, survival now depends upon exhausting physical labour. Now you have to work to survive. Okay? To me, what is that? That's capitalism. Yeah. That is hierarchy. That is distorted polarity. That is capitalism. Yeah? So the masculine becomes trapped in the material world, attempting to create security through what he can produce, possess, and extract. Yeah? The feminine seeks security through the man. The masculine seeks security through the material world. She loses herself in relationship. He loses himself in labour. Neither of them is in their sovereignty. Neither of them are in alignment. One becomes dependent through attachment. The other becomes dependent through survival. And together they create the distortion. Attachment with domination, scarcity with labour, and fear with control. What if Genesis isn't simply describing God's punishment? What if it's describing what happens to human consciousness when we become disconnected from our own fucking soul? Think about it. Immediately after the serpent, the fruit, knowledge, and their eyes being opened, Genesis gives us hierarchy, attachment, domination, scarcity, survival, toil, and death. Would you like me to read the verse again? You can fucking rewind it. I can't be fucked. Maybe the curse isn't only something that happens to humanity. Maybe it's describing the consciousness that humanity fell into because of a false fucking God. Now, let's get into the suppression of the divine feminine and how this has absolutely just fucked everything. Yeah? Now, why didn't Lord God also curse the male with enmity between the serpent and the woman? Why? Oh, here's why. Now, within the symbolic architecture I work through, the woman awakens first, the feminine awakens first, okay? Which is also what many other spiritual teachings will fucking tell you, yeah? And I've experienced it as well, yeah? Okay, so think about it. In Genesis, literally written down, the woman encounters the serpent. Serpent promises opened eyes and knowledge. Woman perceives the fruit as to be desired, to make one wise. Woman eats fruit. Woman gives fruit to man. Man eats. Both of their eyes are open. God confirms that humanity has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. Serpent is cursed. Enmity is specifically established between serpent and woman. If the serpent represents the awakening or knowledge impulse, when your kundalini starts coming out from your fucking root chakra, then the punishment specifically severs the feminine from the force through which she awakens, The woman was the first seeker. She sees, evaluates, desires wisdom, chooses, consumes, integrates, gives, and awakens another. And then comes, I will put enmity between you and the woman. Separate the feminine from her awakening, You don't need to sever the masculine from the serpent directly if you've severed him from the feminine pathway through which he receives his awakening. Okay? Even in Genesis, if you interpret it the way that I have, the masculine doesn't awaken first and then awaken the woman. She witnesses first. She crosses the threshold first, and then she brings what she has encountered to him. So my interpretation is the serpent is your kundalini, your inner knowing, your soul even. The woman was the awakened feminine. The man got his masculine awakening from her. Now, the serpent and the woman having enmity with each other, you've interrupted the entire awakening process for the woman and the man. Now, that's why he didn't curse the man as well, specifically with enmity between the serpent. Okay, because there's no need to. Because if you fuck off the feminine's awakening, the masculine cannot awaken. It is impossible energetically, in my opinion, and in many other spiritual frameworks.